Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I just got to find it now.
Just really sprung that on me.
Raw dogged you.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Don't
Out of
think
context.
that
Okay.
sounds like what you wanted it to sound like.
Uh-oh.
Is it live? Yeah, there it is.
You see
Found
it?
it?
Found it.
I don't
Okay.
see it.
I found it.
Hello.
Why can I never find it?
Corby, you found it so fast.
Found it.
Found it. Found ourselves.
Ah.
Thank
Wait,
you.
PP time was like 15 minutes ago.
Did you just ask to go to the bathroom at 5:05?
Yeah. Did you raise your hand first?
This fucking guy. We can start having a prize just for whoever finds the stream first.
All right. I don't know why I'm pasting it on the text thread. I'm going to go to the Discord instead.
Scavenger hunt.
See, it's now or later for me, and now there's
Just do it
nobody on
now.
the
Just do it
stream.
now. You go.
Just go. Just go. Well, who's the camera on? Me and Nick?
Oh, yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah.
That works.
It's a lot of pressure.
That's okay.
Got the
Here,
camera on me.
I promise I'm here.
Okay.
Arman's
Background.
off camera, doing things.
Pod is in the Discord.
Hey, your foot's in the shot.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, in your.
Yeah. The shoe. Your shoe is in my shot. Are those new shoes?
No.
Those look more ergonomic than those Converse abominations you have.
I love those shoes.
Well, your
The
feet
zipper.
don't.
I love the zipper.
Your arches
we've talked
do
about
not like
this.
those shoes.
I have orthotics. Changes the game.
Not
Every shoe is my oyster.
there are some shoes they don't fit in.
I can go right in.
It's not good.
They're
Like, I
really
think you
good.
get the shoes, you can't
I
pull the
actually
insole
need to
out.
go pick up my new pair. Get my once-a-year renewal.
I need new ones. Mine have like holes in them.
Got the new technology, the Napa leather. And then the
Napa
sport
leather?
version.
Wait, what?
They have like a formal version.
Wait,
They have different like tops you can choose.
different tops.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's pretty. I thought you were the guy for this. So
I got them like one time,
got
but
me
I've never
on it.
gone back.
yeah, I need my other pair.
Yeah.
Boom. Title updated.
You got it?
I went off the cuff.
What is the title?
I called it Power versus Money plus Chaos versus Order.
Ooh.
Do you know what topics we're going to talk about?
Okay.
We could change it later.
No, it's
It's not my best.
it's fine.
It's not Steve. It's like, this guy's a fucking marketer. Are you kidding me?
Oh man, that headline would not sell any ads, Nick.
No, it would not.
You know it.
I'm not going to moderate today. I'm just
Okay.
gonna.
You're not?
No, we're going to be part of the conversation. I'll just make sure we end on time for dinner, Rezo.
Lovely.
Okay.
Cool.
Are we waiting for Eric to get back, or are we just gonna?
You don't have to do anything.
You know,
The world is your oyster.
just do the spiel while he's not here.
Okay, let's. Well,
Spiel it.
can you introduce us to our alcohol that we're drinking tonight?
Yeah, we're drinking Prisoner.
It's good wine.
All right, good wine. Did you take your ZBiotics? I saw it being passed around the
I
office.
did.
Fine.
I did.
Okay.
Took mine nice and early.
Good.
You know, wanted to make sure I get it in before.
Get it
hour
flowing
ago.
through the system.
Yeah, get it in there.
Good.
Flowing, wishing, washing around the
He's
body.
back.
Yeah, so get your ZBiotics at zbiotics.com/alfalfa. You can try out the pre-alcohol, the same one that we just took before starting this pod and drinking this fine Prisoner wine.
All right, Nick, let's pick up the energy a little bit.
All
here.
right, give me a second. I've been working all day.
People are dying out there. People had a long day. Wow. Come in here to party.
Okay. Okay.
That reminds me of my MTV days.
Yeah.
Do it again. More
More
energy.
energy.
More energy.
Use the code alfalfa at checkout. You can get 15% off. And if
that
you don't
was
like
good.
it, they'll give you your money back.
I mean, a little inauthentic, but I like the energy.
All right.
So I'm gonna give you partial credit.
Well, yeah, anyway, it's the what is it called? Probiotic
Yeah.
that takes care of that nasty toxin acetaldehyde.
You're just robbing him of his joy.
I was in.
He
I
failed
was
me.
in there.
He failed me one time, and I just never
You delayed that
Trust issues.
yeah, trust
tenth of a
issues.
second.
I was there. Next time,
know.
I'm just gonna jump the gun. I'm gonna like step all over him.
Welcome everybody to the Alfalfa Acetaldehyde.
And acetaldehyde is that enemy. It's the one that makes you feel like crap in the morning. It's not the dehydration, although you can take your electrolytes, but you need the pre-alcohol probiotic to take care of the devil. So yeah, go ahead and try it out. We love it. Everyone has loved it that we referred it to. Use the code alfalfa at checkout, and thank you ZBiotics for sponsoring the pod.
All right, I'm pumped. We got Daniel Howes in the house.
Oh, what's up?
Tapping in
Puerto
from
Rico.
Puerto Rico. Hope
No
all's
way.
been good back home. Not really. A little chaos.
Have you seen the news?
Maybe stay.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Fire
fine.
everywhere.
Everything's fine. Do I have to go right foot crossover the whole pod?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Sorry.
I'm gonna be sore.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have that hip flexibility.
You know, no, I don't. I got hit with this ad recently. There's this guy who literally has, Nick would love this. So this internet marketer has this. Well, he's using internet marketing, but he's a yoga practitioner, and he found a niche, and his niche is men with tight hips.
That's
He
his
literally
angle?
has an entire course and program targeting people. I don't know how he knew. I don't know how Instagram knew, how Meta
Wait,
knew.
I know this guy.
And
I know
it's
exactly
like,
the guy you're talking
Do
about.
you wish you could like sit in a baby squat, Asian squat for like an hour straight? Do you have like,
No.
tightness in your
do not wish
I do.
that.
That's a huge goal of mine. Tightness in your ankles, tightness in your hips. Like you sit in a car, does it hurt a little bit? And I was like, yes, 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 yes.
Oh, it was a quiz funnel?
No, it's just like
Oh.
he's talking to you. It's a
Okay.
great ad.
I'm like, yes,
And
go
he's got,
on.
He's got like 5 variations of the same video, and it just like immediately gets you. If you have,
This is the tight
And
hips
he-
version of knees over toes.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
I mean, that guy's got a massive market. People with pain in their knee.
I've definitely bought that guy's product.
Knees
You
over
did?
toes guy
Oh,
is
100%.
compelling.
This
to
hip
me.
one?
Some blonde guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
You
guy.
bought it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just hit buy, right?
Like years ago, I bought it.
Oh, it's been out for a while.
Yeah, I did it during like COVID.
It's like Yoga Body or something like that is
Yeah.
the title.
Yeah, that's
Is
it.
it good? Did you do it?
Yeah, it's hard to do because you're like
It's like a 21-day program, right?
holding positions for so long.
That's what
which
I
you're
like,
supposed
though.
to do.
I love that like yin yoga where you do, is that what it's called? Like where you go the deep holds, the long holds?
I don't know, but you go deep.
Like
go
when you
deep and
do
long.
flow yoga, you're moving a lot, but I think it's called yin yoga where you hold postures. That's my favorite kind where you get that like really deep stretch, like the old static stretching style. Anyway, I'm really pumped.
Dude,
I'm going to be
my-
so flexible.
My calisthenics and stuff were so on point during COVID. I got to the point during COVID
Same, man.
where I could do a freestanding like handstand push-up.
Mm.
I could get in a handstand and do a push-up.
It's great.
Well,
And
that's
now I
sick.
can't touch my toes anymore.
Can't even dink
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
You supposed to be like a near scratch golfer. I wish you'd bring it back.
Well,
can go play.
I can't putt anymore, so
God, you've
it's over.
atrophied so much.
I can still hit the ball like 300 yards though, so that's cool.
That's way cooler than putting.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it
way
is.
cooler.
The chicks don't care about the putting,
No.
No.
or
Now
or
watch
any
this
of the rest of
drive.
golf. to be
Now
honest.
watch this drive.
Oh my god, that's still like the best. That came across my feed the other day randomly. Even the people in the comments were like, "I hate this guy," but that was pretty good.
to me, that's not a meme. I think that's one of the most important moments in American history.
Now watch this.
Don't let the terrorists win. We'll fight for freedom. Now watch this drive.
It's seriously one of the goatiest moments in our history.
How did the drive go? Did he pipe it?
Oh, crisp.
I mean, it sounded good.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, it totally
W
matters.
had a good swing.
Yeah,
It totally
was great-
matters.
It was a
Because if
great
he just
swing.
like duffed it, then that would be like the meme.
No,
of the
he
other
hit
stuff.
it with authority.
Yeah, he flushed it.
Okay.
Yeah. Is he a better golfer than Trump?
Yeah.
Is he?
Have you seen Trump swing a golf club?
I don't. He looks funny, but I've heard he.
Didn't they break
apparently
50
he's
with
good.
Bryson?
They
I
got
heard-
close. They didn't break it.
I heard they like fudged that video a little bit.
The internet's fake?
Sources who shall go unnamed have told me
Shit.
there was some fudging going on in the edits.
Oh my God, we have a cherry. to
Wait,
pop.
what?
Jay Joe Hall. Oh, we know Jay.
Oh.
We met Jay 2 weeks ago.
What's up, Jay?
Random occurrence in the street. Remember that?
It's been a great new Discord member.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold
huge.
on. That's Jay that we met.
Dr. J.
Dr. J.
It's Dr. J.
What's up,
First
Dr.
time
J?
on the live stream.
We met him just 3 boys going to get a gelato after
Yeah, it was
a pod.
post pod.
Really?
Post pod. We were walking down the street, and he was like, "I know you guys."
Ha!
And I told him to come out on the. That was the guy we were talking to in Discord.
Yeah.
saying
No,
come
I
out on Wednesdays.
Put the pieces together.
Alfalfa after dark.
Hell
we
yeah.
can
It's
do
the best.
Open
ST
invite.
ST
Anyone
it.
ever in San Diego? We hang out after the pod. Alfalfa after dark. It gets a little weird. You might
Yeah,
not like
if you're
us
an
afterwards,
ST,
but-
say hi.
Yeah,
in
apparently
the
there's gelato
Discord.
involved.
At least Dr. J had the excuse he was with his wife and his wife's family.
Yeah.
We were just Three bros at a gelato shop.
Getting gelato.
Why were we? Oh, we ran into
'Cause
another.
we ran
oh,
into
yeah.
another.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Um,
So.
What are we talking about, fearless leader?
I'm
No,
not
no.
moderating.
Remember, he
We're just
doesn't-
talking.
he's not moderating.
You can't just opt out of moderating.
I,
No.
I literally
already warned
made a
you.
disclaimer. I said I'm not going to moderate today. We're just going to
thought
chat.
he was joking.
No. Full disclaimer. So this is what it's like when the wheels fall off. Now you got to just.
We
you
know what it's like when the wheels
No,
fall off.
sometimes
We've
it's
done
good.
pods when Nick isn't here.
It's great. We'll figure it out.
You want a soft toss? Arman, did you have any productivity
Arman,
hacks
I
over
know
the last week?
Arman wanted to tell us something.
mm.
He did some big things.
Way to
this
tee
week.
up, non-moderator.
So
I knew I could get him.
no, see I like those kinds of. That's a good level of nudging. So, I mean, I'm excited, so I'm sharing it, but I don't think anyone out there cares about this. It's one of those like I don't think it applies. I think it applies to 1% of our audience. But I recently outsourced my email, like fully delegated my inbox finally. And a lot of the thought leaders that I've looked up to for many years, and I've done this before in the past, but depending on the level, the scale, the phase of your business that you're in, you tend to want control. And when you're like an owner of a business and you're more kind of like operating, you've gotten to a place where the business is flowing and operating comfortably, it's easier to step out of the daily minutia and not want to like control every detail of what everyone's working on or even where your email's at and all those things. So, a lot of these great thought leaders like Dan Martell, who we had on the pod, like famously talks about the importance of like first thing you do when you get going in that business is get your inbox and your calendar completely delegated to an EA. And it's funny because I've had an EA now for a year in this new company, Steno, but I haven't given her my calendar and my inbox. I gave her everything else because I was being controlling. And I'm like getting all these important emails from customers and investors, and I want to make sure I see them and I respond properly and all this stuff. Because the way Dan does it, he's not even responding to most of the emails. And it's a triage system. So all the emails flow through your EA first, and they triage them for you, where they put them into buckets. So I borrowed Dan's system. And there are many systems out there. There are many thought leaders that talk about the same stuff. You could literally just ChatGPT or Google like how to triage your email if you're someone that's going to do this. And I think this applies to like, founders, but also executives or anybody that has the capability to pay for an EA or have their company provide them an EA. A lot of them don't take advantage of like having someone manage their email for them. So I was very scared almost to like give this up, thinking that I would lose some kind of, it's just one of those like, counterintuitive things that ends up helping you, but you think that by having the control and the oversight that you're doing it better, you're not.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe.
it's not
I
better.
mean, maybe most people have the same. When I've attempted this, I've always been like, man, I'm spending as much time managing the system as if I were just me answering the emails. But so I never could get across that hump. Maybe you have the secret because, like, I imagine
I can
the
just tell
benefit
you
on the other side
exactly what I'm
not
doing
having
right
the
now.
mental
Eric, if you don't mind
overhead.
sharing the old screen here. So, this is what Dan recommends is like you provide delegated access through Gmail, through Google. Most people are on Google. So they get direct access to your inbox. They triage it and respond for you, but then they process everything into folders. And then you sync with them every day to process. I don't do that. I literally just went take over. And I'm a very async guy. I try to avoid meetings as much as possible. So unless there's a reason for the sync, I tend to avoid it. But this is what he recommends is like everything goes into 7 folders. There's a primary folder with your name on it. That means like you need to respond to this. You need to look at this directly. To respond is like the EA is putting it there saying like, I'm working on this. Like I'm responding to this. It's in progress. Review is like, you need to look at this. Like your eyes probably should be
Just
on this.
for your information, not
It's
like
an
you need to
FYI.
do anything about it.
You're
Yeah.
archiving it. You're
Yeah.
looking at it, and then you're archiving it. Responded is everything the EA responded to on your behalf. And my instructions are you never respond as if you're me. You say, hey, Anissa here on behalf of Arman. I don't want people to mistake us. And I want people to know it's fine that my EA is responding. I don't use the waiting on folder. I don't use the receipts folder or the newsletter folder. I just have like this other folder called like miscellaneous that combines all of those. Now I am 1 week into this, and within 12 hours, the sense of relief I felt as someone that I respond to approximately 50 to 75 emails a day. like that I need to reply to. So that's already been cut in half. But that's not what the problem was. The problem wasn't me responding. The problem was the things I needed to respond to were mixed in with everything else. So the job of somebody going in and triaging and pulling out what I need to actually respond to has been huge. Huge in terms of mental overload and relief and just like knowing that it's going to be okay. And I told her, like, just err on the side of caution for the first couple weeks. You know, if you're unsure, just put it in review. Don't archive it. And then we'll adjust.
Is your EA full time?
Mm-hmm.
And what percentage of time does it take to do this portion of her work, you think?
Oh, she's probably spending 30 minutes a day.
Oh,
you know, an
so it's
hour a day.
Relatively cheap.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Damn, you're so much busier than me. I haven't responded to an email, I feel like, in years.
Yeah, we know. We're still waiting on.
Yeah. And my
Anyway.
emails.
Operating agreement
I'm
changes.
thinking, I'm processing a spreadsheet, or I'm ChatGPTing and thinking through something, and you know, having to compare to an old document or creating a legal document. So it's like it's not 50 short responses. It's like thoughtful responses. So to know that I can batch it all into one moment in my day, like so now what I'm doing is like, okay, I have a slot in my calendar, 30 minutes. It's like email time
To go through
to
this
go through
checklist.
my Arman folder and my review folder. And then I quickly glance at all the other folders, make sure everything's going okay, and I move on with my day. Now, my goal eventually, when I get out of the early stage startup phase, is to get out of Slack and to get out of people texting me. I mean, customers reach out to me on text, WhatsApp, email, Slack Connect, Telegram. I mean, it's fucking crazy. All of my inboxes are constantly exploding, and I actually manage them all. Zero inbox across the board everywhere. It's insane. So my goal will be eventually to just funnel everything like Mark Cuban to email. I love what Mark Cuban does. He just says, like, I don't do calls. Don't worry. I'm very good at email. This is where you reach me. I have a system. Just email me. So that's my ideal. It's like phone call, email. That's all I want. Eventually, to just not have anything scheduled and run it that way. And I think that's like when we're at 20 million plus, I'll be there. Like when we have at least like a dozen people, like the machine is like fully running, then I can, you know, relinquish that level of control.
I probably check my mail once or twice a month. Probably check my
You're talking about like snail mail?
Snail mail. Probably check my email maybe once a week. Actually, I don't check it at all. The only time I go in there is when I need to send something or I'm specifically waiting on like something to come in. I ignore all, and it's probably not important or urgent if someone close to me hasn't said,
I'm emailing
hey,
you
you
something.
need to do this, or like texted me or called me, so I just ignore it all.
So that was actually my first question. My first question to you was going to be like, how do you treat snail mail? Because I treat email the same.
My snail mail is digitally processed through a company I can pull up for you guys. It's a great company. And then she manages that too, just like she manages the inbox.
This sounds beautiful.
So that I gave up like 2 years ago. The snail mail should definitely. I've never put my real address on.
Well, I give it up too. I take it and I immediately just put it in the trash.
But
well, first you got to pay off your scam toll roads letter that got sent to you.
So many toll road scams, dude.
Wait, those are scams?
Oh shit! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Nice one.
There is important stuff that sometimes shows up in snail mail, but yeah, I hate snail mail.
Car registration.
Snail
That's like the one thing you need.
Oh,
yeah.
It's called Stable. Definite shout out to that company if you need a business address or you want your mail managed for you. Stable's awesome. It's kind of like, have you guys heard of Earth Class Mail?
No.
I used to use that,
Better.
and our mail got abused, and the bill was wild for how many things they were processing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that one.
I can't believe snail mail is still a thing.
Yeah, it's
They may as well
Kinda
like,
prefer
may as
it.
well like a caveman roll up to your house with like a wheel and just like chiseling some shit into it. And be like, it's just so ridiculous.
The Publishers Clearinghouse could be mailing your $1 million check there, so you need to keep it.
Great. I feel like I'm like 6 months behind my snail mail on average.
Those are the important things sometimes.
Yep, that's true.
Car registrations.
Yep.
Sure do.
Yeah, funny story about car registration. I think last car I had, I was 1.5 years behind on the registration.
Did you ever get pulled over?
Nope. Definitely reinforced some bad behavior.
Classic white male story.
Hopefully,
Never get pulled over.
Gavin's not
I'm
listening to this.
I got pulled over one time.
One time?
No, I mean like not just like for random things, like for not having the updated tags.
Tags.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
They're a dick about it, like in LA. I used to go to LA and just get dinged all the time. Then I'll come back here, never a problem.
Things seem to be different in LA.
Oh,
Are you segueing?
nice
No.
transition.
Maybe. I mean,
I ordered the bricks you asked me to order, by the way. I put them in your office, so I don't know what you need to use them for, but I got them.
dude, those bricks are
Yeah. Mexican flags.
No joke,
So many
man.
of them.
Yeah, why'd you order Mexican flags?
Mexican murderous. Those bricks are murderous. You guys have seen the videos, right?
Have you guys ever been
could
close
die.
to the sound of a brick going through a car window?
No.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, no.
Okay. You may not believe this, but it sounds eerily close to a gunshot.
How close were you?
30 feet?
I need more context.
30
here.
feet.
All you need
Why
to know
were
is
you-
Sacramento, dude.
Yeah. No context given. No context granted.
Okay.
Just if you're close enough, it sounds like
Dude, they're
it's loud and
launching
it's a
these
gunshot.
things off of like the highway overpass from 100 feet up down onto cops.
Whoa.
That shit is terrifying. The things that I've seen in the last week from the LA riots are just
So just to be clear, is this
Terrifying.
thing just confined to like downtown LA? Like, because sometimes you hear things and you're like, oh my God, the whole
no,
county's
I believe
burning.
it's very confined.
Okay.
To like not one area, but like small groups. You know, it looks so bad when you see it online. You just assume LA, all of it's on fire.
Is it only LA or is this happening in
There's
San Diego?
nationwide,
Is San Diego having anything?
Protests.
I'm like very suburban.
My wife said that on the 14th there's a protest. So
Because there's a
This Saturday.
Isn't it like Trump's special day? So everyone's protesting.
oh, I think he's doing like a military parade, like a Flag Day parade.
something about
A
it being
military
his like.
parade?
Yeah.
I think it's like his birthday or something.
It's not dictatory at all.
No, I think it's only going to cost us like $42 million to get
great.
all the equipment
Yeah,
there and
it's
then
his
redo
birthday,
the roads.
June 14th is his birthday.
Oh shit!
That's why he's having a.
Wow, that's
He's doing a
very
military parade
dictator
on his birthday. Oh god.
Have we ever rolled tanks in the street to celebrate something? Other than like coming home from World War II, maybe? I don't know. Because they just actually had to transport them, not because.
Not that I can remember. But I don't pay attention to this stuff.
We haven't celebrated war in a while.
I thought he was going to do. What's the anniversary we have coming up? Like a 250th? Yeah, a 250th America birthday anniversary.
I like that. That's next year, right?
Yeah, next year, I assume on July 4th. But he wanted to have a whole year of like celebrating the 250th birthday. He wanted to have like games, like mini Olympic games, but for like high school students. He wanted to like be all America and including the most massive military parade on the face of the earth. But I did not know he was doing it on his birthday.
Yeah.
Military parades are so weird. Like, there's no universe where I would be like, you know what we need right now? A military parade.
I mean, you
Well,
do it when
typically
you're
it's a show-
India or North Korea when you're like, hey,
It's
we
a sh-
cobbled together the four, like
It's like a sign of like
Surf-
insecurity, I feel like.
exactly.
It's a show of
not a
strength
good
to other
sign.
countries. It's kind of odd to do it at home.
Is it a show
your
of
own
strength? Like, people are like, oh god, look at these.
Yeah,
guys
like when North
driving tanks
Korea
through
or
the street.
Iran or whoever does these, it's to show, look at our might, look at our strength.
They all look
at
pretty,
our missiles.
They all look pretty I don't know, laughable. I think when I see them like from other countries, they're doing like these weird walks and like weird stunts.
Those are
are
the
like,
Indian ones. They're like spinning and balancing on the motorcycles.
You guys
Okay, the
remember the
Indians
one
are
we
pretty
pulled up
sick.
one time?
Yeah.
It was like, I think in India or something.
Yeah, and they like
It was
dance on
really
the border
funny.
with
It
the
was great.
Pakistanis.
yeah, it doesn't really like make you look formidable. It's like makes you look pretty funny.
They're like the teenagers just like dance battling on the border there, but with like nukes. It's good.
Meanwhile, the
It's good stuff.
Palantir admin's like, that's not what should scare you.
Yeah,
should scare you.
Yeah,
Oh
He's
god, are
They
you
could
doing
do-
another segue?
It's not a segue. I just
Okay.
commented.
it would have been a good
You're-
one.
That was
Called
that was
Friends
like a-
Talking.
That was a drop. That was
So
a little.
has everybody
seed.
seen the videos?
I've
of
seen the
riots?
videos. I just don't know what's real on the internet anymore. And even if it is real on the internet, like I don't know, like are people actually protesting or is this some like weird like funded freaking like psyop or something. You know,
Totally.
like how many people? I still can't grasp like who's like going out into the streets and like marching.
Well, what you're talking about is fascinating because it's not just about this. Like what you're observing is a reality that exists in this time about every single topic. In the last 5 years since COVID, every single thing that has happened, I've heard the exact same reaction, and I think that's only going to get worse. I don't know what's real is the theme.
Yep.
I don't know what's theater and what's reality, and it's only getting worse and worse and worse until reality just starts to disarray into an illusion of nihilism, and no one knows
Is that
what
it?
truth
Yeah,
is.
I was curious, like, what's the prevailing feeling people get when they don't know what's true? Is it like apathy or nihilism or like?
Yeah, it's like the
Depends on who you are.
Yeah, it depends on who you are, but I think a lot of people like just opt out. A lot of people get like very fearful. A lot
Is
of
opting out like the healthy response? Because I actually feel like
Yeah,
most people. I think most people are gonna go into a pit of like nothing ever happens.
Eric, tell me what to feel. Should I just choose the apathy route? Like I just don't.
No, obviously you should care about things, and I think like having emotion and passion is incredibly valuable. But like how you direct that is important, and like I think it's easy to get misguided in, like particularly when you're being like intentionally misled all the time.
It's funny because like this is the most least hurtful version of this. The most hurtful is when people don't know what to believe, and or you go a step further and it's like them believing what they're seeing and then taking like additional violent actions, and it just kind of like spirals out of control. I think last week, I don't think Arman you were here, but I think I mentioned to Eric and Steven this incredibly cringy movie called Mountainhead, but the basis of the plot was, they released these, amazing AI tools that no one can tell what's what, and just chaos literally ensues around the globe, and you're like, I can see it.
I started watching that movie. I didn't like get far enough.
Yeah, because it's terrible.
Well, and like shit's going
Somebody
on
else
in my life.
independently brought that movie up to me in a conversation
Oh, is this
last
the
week.
new
and said
one?
It was awesome.
In
Yeah,
theaters?
Steve. No. It's like it's on
Steve
HBO.
Carell?
Steve Carell and like
Yeah. I heard it's a bad movie, but it's like good in the sense that it is worth watching to see like how Silicon Valley is thinking about
probably like documentary like
all
in a way.
this and what it's like.
I was
Like,
telling my wife, I was like, "This is terrible." She's like, "Why are you still watching?" I was like, "I need to close the loop. Like, I just need to like, I just need to like finish it."
That's valid. It's funny because like you have like a very high like believability weighting in my brain. So like when you tell me things, like I just assume it's true. Like, and there's like a lot of evidence I need.
Thank you,
before
Steven.
like
How many individuals exist in this tier for you? Believability
in
tier.
Nick tier.
Yeah.
Oh, very few.
Oh, thank you.
Nick
I'll settle
tier-
for
Nick tier
A or
is,
B
like-
tier.
Like I don't think Nick's even like ever like made a joke to me. Like I think everything he says is just like I just assume it's like raw, unfiltered,
Nick
like
Urbani, Jesus Christ.
highly processed. Like yeah, it's like Jesus, Nick.
oh,
So it's funny because I ended up in a conversation last week with some people just talking about Mountainhead, about how good the movie was, and I hadn't seen the movie. Like my only impression of it was like Nick talking about how bad the movie was. So immediately my impression of these people is like, oh, these people must be
No,
fucking
it was a
dumb.
wasted plot line. The plot line is like kind of like that would be a good movie, but they just like tore up the screenplay into like cringy line after cringy line, and none of it's believable. Humans don't, even in like a comedic, sarcastic movie, don't talk like that.
It'd be funny, like, to know to what degree you disagreed with them, having not watched the movie but just only heard Nick.
Yeah,
you're
did-
just like wrong.
You said tell them to go kill themselves, or
No, I mean, guys, come on.
all right.
That was-
Anyway,
that
we
was
got off.
no,
but
we're not letting that go. That's like an all-time.
You're taking
great
it
line.
out of context, though. It
No.
was
It would be funnier. It'd
it
be
was
funnier.
a provocative
It's going
question.
to be taken out of context many more times.
Oh God. Wait. Okay. I want to get back to this stuff.
I'm trying to figure out how I feel right now.
I'm trying to figure out how I
I'm trying to figure out
feel.
what
too,
anything
like-
means.
Yeah. Like I don't. I'm at the point right now where I think like everybody in my X feed is just like a fucking psyop, right?
Mhm.
Like I think every account I follow is basically like a psyop at this point. I like worry that like all the comedians on the podcast are compromised, and they're just like, oh, people who make you laugh, those are the best people to
Yeah, Tim
compromise.
Dillon got attacked for that. He was like, "Oh, you're
I
part
feel
of
like
the
I
problem."
believe Tim Dillon.
Did
But
you
like,
hear
I
what he
feel like
said?
some of these guys. What?
He said he's basically been invited to these like tech company,
Oh
maybe
yeah, yeah. He's like,
Palantir
I've been
dinners,
invited
and
to like Peter
we just-
Thiel's house and stuff.
we just want to
and
talk about the media. Come on over.
Shit.
bro. It's so fucked these
Yeah,
days.
because they are the media. Of course, they're being invited to these
But
things.
dude, it was so much better when we just discovered independent media. We were the only people who knew about it, and we just listened to it, and it was like
We had
all
a source
raw
of
and
truth.
unfiltered.
Yeah.
And now we're in the phase where like
They're being bought.
all the powers that be like know that that's the thing that we know, and so they're buying up all the fucking people who like we used to be able to, and now I can't like trust anything anymore. Like everything is
Until
just.
there's an alternative news source or outlet that
I know, but we gotta,
provides
like
the
run back
same-
the whole entire playbook again. It's like so exhausting.
That's
I liked
interesting.
being able to like thoughtlessly outsource my thinking to a person who I trusted who was outside of this bubble. And now that all that's corrupted, like I have to like individually think through everything again. And it's
The
it's
podcasters
hard.
are the least of my worries.
What about
honestly.
like us, like the listeners of
I got
the-
paid off a long
the
time
Alfalfa
ago,
pod-
brother.
The Alfalfa podcast listeners.
Why do you
like,
think I
what-
still show up?
I don't know if you're aware about this, but this podcast makes no money, so there's no. this is about as authentic
So
as it
we're
gets here.
immune. We're immune to control because we just have
until we
no-
take the money.
That is correct.
right.
It makes me kind of trust those Substackers a little more because, like, it's very clear who they're getting their money from.
Yeah,
Or I'd like to
the
think.
community donation, community supported media outlets and journalists and all that is like
They're immune,
But that's a problem too because they have audience capture.
and then you
yeah,
have to
and
speak to that audience.
Yeah,
Like unless you've really carefully built your audience around like people who just like want to have their beliefs contradicted constantly, which is like 0.2% of the human
Yeah.
population, not a very profitable audience. Like you're going to feel
yeah,
compelled to tell people what they
that
want to
person
hear.
is going to speak to their community backers, not to the broader audience of just like generally delivering real news.
Yeah, if you get people paying you like $600K a month in
upset.
ARR, right? You're just like
Yeah, give the people what they
just,
want.
just
Feed
give
'em.
them what they want.
Everybody has a boss. Everybody.
And then, like, I don't know the solution for this because a lot of people will be like, well, the solution is like government-backed media, but that's obviously bad too. Oh, nonprofit.
Elon thought he was independent, and then he found out real quick that he's not number one.
But
You
even
gotta-
X is just a giant fucking Elon propaganda machine. Like, even if like it's independent, it's like a different. Like, everything is just kind of propaganda. It's
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, definite sign of the times though. Like this is very much in line with like Fourth Turning or Ray Dalio's sort of cycles, right? What are we in the fifth one with Ray Dalio's? It's like a very, very
What was Ray
clearly
Dalio's fifth one that he
illustrated
said? Like,
right before the full blown, breakdown and
Revolt.
chaos.
There's a
Like his
fifth turning?
version of the Fourth Turning. There's like six,
Oh,
if
gosh.
I'm correct. I could be completely mistaken.
I read his book. And
I read the Blinkist. I didn't actually read his book. I just did like a summary. But like I think there was like 6 movements. Or
How long are we going
rounds
to be
or-
in this stage where we just like say, "Oh, this is the fourth turning. This is the fourth turning"? Like, I mean, at some point, it's
What's it called when you do the constellations and you predict your future?
Astrology.
Okay, so I heard someone recently called the fourth turning as
Oh, I
astrology
saw
for
that too.
men,
I thought of
and I
us.
was like, maybe we do kind of overplay that a little
I
bit.
think so. We just like always bring it up and
Just like anything, something bad happens, you just be like,
ascribe anything to fourth turning shit.
But I think he was more in the context of saying like just make sure you don't get tied to a story arc that may or may not exist. Like anyway, I think the play is acknowledge like you got to be aware of your bias. Like I think I'm biased towards a little libertarian view, probably more right, or at least it feels more right these days than it used to be. But so I need like 2 or 3 sources that I listen to that are, let's say left or if not libertarian, maybe left authoritarian, that I should like be open-minded to. I don't know who those are. While you guys were talking, I was like, who are my balancing weights on the left? You have a few. Like you've seen a few.
Dude,
Is
I've
Scott Galloway
shifted-
one?
You know who I've shifted to? Like source of truth?
Hmm.
The alfalfa community.
Same.
Like to me, if I'm having a conversation with people like Feach and Rizzy and Marty and Metz and Tom Nom Nom. I'm getting way more value from real people that I know, online or offline, who I intellectually trust to bring a variety of trustful, diligent thinking than I do anyone who's being paid to do so in any shape or form. These people are not being paid to do so.
Agreed.
Neither am I. So it's like they're friends, they're community members, they're people that I can like bounce ideas off of and get like a pulse check of reality
From like all different walks of life.
all different walks of life. Like we talked about this a lot, where we said like eventually what you're left with is your community, and we talked about how like the truth needs to get filtered by people around you, and like that ends up becoming your filter of reality. You guys, like part of the reason I'm trying to have this conversation, I know that we wanted to have this conversation today. I think I'm feeling what Steven's feeling. Is like, what the fuck is going on? Like my whole worldview has changed pretty drastically in the last week. And I think a big part of it is because I absolutely was being a little bit naive in certain areas, even though I didn't want to admit it.
Wait, before you keep going, could you tell us exactly how your worldview changed, and then
Don't bury the
kind of
lead.
bring it back? Because I'm gonna be sitting here
So
wondering the whole time.
I like sure. I think I like fell. I think I trusted that this administration would. I always knew like there was a chance it would completely fail and lie to me, of course.
Very
But I
high
was like,
chance, yes.
I was like, okay, they're talking about the importance of closed borders, of not allowing illegal immigrants to come into the country unlawfully, that crime is on the rise, that we need to make some changes, that we need to fix the economy, that we need to reduce the debt, that we need to build for the future, that we have an exciting technology age of AI ahead of us, and all these promises. And
They're spinning a good yarn there.
and all I've seen, especially in the last like few weeks, is the abusive, authoritarian, ugly assholism that I feared, that I've talked about many times on this podcast, becoming normalized. And the way it gets normalized is like, this is the law. This is what we do. This is what America's supposed to be. And there's absolutely no compassion. None. Like 10% would be enough for me. Like use logic as 90%, but retain 10% of compassion for instances where like, okay, you want to get rid of illegal immigrants? Fine. They came to this country illegally? Fine. I'm for that. I was for that. I've talked about that. But the way they've done it is they're separating moms at court when they're going to the immigration centers to get like their status, correctly, lawfully fixed, moms from their children. They said they were going to remove criminals from this country. They're removing mothers. Yeah. I haven't even thought about it. This pod sometimes is an opportunity for me to even think about these things. I mean, I'm thinking specifically about one video. This husband is like crying outside of one of these like courthouses. The mom is being thrown in an unmarked van, and it looks like the kind of thing you throw a dog into, and their children are waiting home alone, and they lost their mom. And I've seen countless videos like this. Why? And it makes you think like this country, we talk about the importance of immigration in this country is built on immigrants. At some point or another, for so many of the great Americans that exist in America today, like me, first generation, they came from immigrants that maybe at some point were unlawfully here, that became citizens. But like a lot of people have been illegal in status for a short period of time. You got to consider like all these factors, and it's just I'm changing my perception
You're becoming more compassionate.
So
yeah, because the fear was, the question that JD Vance and Trump got constantly from the media was, how are you going to do it? And they wouldn't answer the question.
Yeah. The how's the hardest part.
Well, they showed us how they're going to do it with a huge quota and a stick and masks on, and they're not even going to identify themselves. So it's like full-blown
yeah.
Gestapo.
I had the same question. So can I just maybe share what I found when I looked this up a little bit? So Wall Street Journal had a pretty good article, like an investigative article, is like, how did we end up here to the point where these riots started? Like what led into it? And apparently they realized that they were actually short of Biden's deportation pace if they compare how many people they deported versus what Biden did in his first year. So
It's a quota.
Stephen Miller was like, give me all the ICE heads in D.C., send them all there. He's like, hey, you need to do what you have to do, but essentially you have to hit this quota.
I
And
read
I
the
don't
same
care if you
thing.
show up at courthouses, just get it done. And
Damn.
so I thought about it and I was like, you know, it's interesting. Like maybe they're a victim of their own initial success. Like in my mind, it was the whole immigration issue was kind of like fixed basically the moment he turned office because he had such strong rhetoric that literally people just stopped crossing the border. If you look at the border crossings, they're down by like 90, 95%. And so there's,
So it
you
was
know,
enough of like a visual deterrent in a way.
they're like
totally
you kind of like
ripped.
problem solved. Now, I agree with the part about getting rid of illegal immigrants with a criminal record, right? And so
Yeah, at least start from the like most egregious situations, the ones who have been here for newer, just crossed versus like someone who's been here 20 years, started a life, contributes to the economy, has a family, hasn't committed a crime.
yeah, and when I'm kind of like driving and not in like full thinking mode, and someone's like, "Well, you know, the law is the law. We're just enforcing law." Sometimes I go, I kind of get it, but then like you bring up
course.
something like
But
that,
then
and
the
you're like,
nuance of reality shows
Yeah.
up.
I mean, that sounds like one of those things that people say that sounds nice, but then if you think about how that manifests in reality, the worst people who are here illegally are probably not making themselves obviously known to be deported. And the best people who are here illegally might be sitting ducks, per se.
AKA
because they
working at a
perceive
job.
Like
themselves
showing
be-
up
yeah.
to Buena Forqueta, one of the top restaurants in San Diego, to just
Do a job, right?
and to just walk in and arrest everybody.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
crazy.
The Buena Forqueta guy was like legit, like running like a borderline slave labor ring. But like, it is a worthy question how much of that should have been directed at the owner of
But
that restaurant.
everybody
versus
knows
the
that
people.
restaurant workers are mostly illegal. Like,
But
everybody knows
but like that in
everybody knows.
it's just such a complicated issue because like there's like an inherent problem with that, right? And this is also like this like built-in problem with leftism, right? Is that like in like all like everything you're saying sounds great and it's great that people have compassion, right? But compassion inevitably leads to like accommodation, which leads to more of the problem. And then ultimately you end up in this situation where the problem gets so bad that people turn to like strongmen to fix it because the problem has become so
We
bad.
remove compassion completely. Let's just say there's no compassion. There's a logical approach with how you deal with real people that could be utilized to deal with the situation that we have. Can't change the past. There's illegal people. There's illegal immigrants in this country. Now the question becomes logically, how should we deal with that? How should we go out and deal with that? And they were asked so many times, how are you going to do it? And they wouldn't answer the question. Now we have the answer. We're going to do it with force. It's going to be very ugly. We're going to do it with unmarked vans. We're going to do it with dudes with their masks on. And then if you ask why they're not identifying themselves, we're going to say it's for their safety because they've received death threats. Oh, really? Where are we? What country are we in? Like that's completely outside the realm of like any
why is it a
logical...
big deal for you if police have masks on?
Dude, it's a huge deal.
Why though?
Ask yourself that. If you were a person that was being attacked by some guy that you didn't know who...
That guy is just a part of an organization. Like the chain of command is to go up the organization, to attack the organization, to attack the chain of command, not to like attack that.
How do you know? How do you know it's not secret police?
Dude,
How do you know
it
it's
makes
not someone
like if you've
kidnapping
been on the internet and you see what these people are doing to like federal officers and stuff, they're doxing them. They're going to their house. Like it makes complete sense that these individuals don't want to like show their face.
Dude, that's a cost of like the job.
No,
and
it's not like we're in like this like we're in like a borderline war
Then
scenario.
you're
at this
also
point.
arguing for secret police.
No, I'm not arguing for secret police. I'm arguing for I'm arguing for accountability, like at like an organizational level and due process. Like there's no like if you get arrested and you're home, there's a process. You go to court, all that stuff. It's like irrelevant, like the name of the officer who arrested you and everything. What matters is that like you're in the system. There's a process in the system. You get like your due process, right? Now it's definitely a problem if we throw you in a van and ship you to El Salvador and don't give you a trial or anything. That's a problem. But the idea that because like the people who are like incarcerating you aren't showing their faces. Like I don't get that.
But they should identify themselves. You should be able to ask for their badge number and which
100%.
agency they're part of. Like, I don't care if they show their face, but I want to know.
I
like,
agree with that.
You
Yeah.
have to
They're not doing
show.
that.
I mean,
Okay, so fine. Don't dox them. Don't let them and their families be hurt. I don't want anybody to be hurt. I don't want the officers to be hurt.
But the reason we're here and we're doing this is because the other side has used these tactics, and we're in this like unfortunate state right now where like people are just like, fuck it, let's fight fire with fire. And this is kind of how you devolve into like real nasty civil unrest, right?
Exactly.
But like this is what happened. This is what like the original like masks like wreaking havoc thing was like COVID, like leftist protesters, right? That was the original thing. Like people anonymously looting, burning down shit, and then that got out of hand. It was not kept in check, and then the people of the country got so fucking fed up that they elected a guy who was just like, fuck these people, I'm going to do the same thing to them. And people were like, fuck yeah, do that. But the root cause of it like is something much deeper. And although like I agree with you, it's like it's not ideal that that's what's happening. Like this is similar to the situation going on in like Israel, Gaza, right? There's this sort of like unwritten rule or sometimes written rule of like engagement even in war, or like or of your civilization. Like what are the values you hold, and like you fight within those like kind of core civilizational values. And then one side is just like, no, we're opting out of that. We're going to fight you with any means necessary. And then you have this now nasty decision, which is like, do I stand by my principles and fight? And I'm trying to do this, and now I'm losing because like I'm fighting with like two hands tied behind my back. And then there's this growing pressure from people who support you to be like, fuck those people. Don't play by just play by their rules now. And that's kind of what's happening here in the immigration front, unfortunately, I would say.
I don't know.
Dude, okay, so I think it's easy to like to look at the way it's being done and be like, this part of it's bad. I think it's much harder to be like, what would you do instead? Like, there's no easy way to like uphold the law in this regard. You know, like I think I understand it because like when I lived in Australia for 1 year, there were people that were they were like doing the same thing. We had a 1 year visa. They were like trying to extend their stay, and the Australian government was like, okay, after a year, we're gonna deport you, and like people got deported, and that's okay, like because that was the rule. I think like we understood that's like the rule we're playing with, and the people that wanted to extend their stay knew they were sort of like being against the law on that one, and then when they got deported, it's like that's fine. So why is it like so egregious to uphold the laws that exist? Like if you don't uphold the law, then there is no law.
Yeah, and like to the point about like everybody does this kind of sob story with like, oh, this person has the family and everything, and it is like sad. It is very fucking sad. In every other law in the country that you break, every other law in the country that you break, if you break the law and you have like to go to jail or something, you can't be like, oh, I have kids. Everybody goes like,
Okay,
too
but
fucking bad.
I typically find myself in your guys' like chain of thought, but let me give a counterpoint to that. Like in an agreement, you know, if one side doesn't enforce it over the course of 10 years, is it no longer violating the law? So as an example, someone comes over illegally, they find themselves getting a social security number. They use it to get a job. They pay taxes for multiple years. They live there. They're not violating crimes. Let's say it's 10 years have gone by, and now, like, you know, we're enforcing the law, and going back 10 years. Like, whose fault is it? Is it the individual's fault, or is it the government's fault for being like, well, we kind of like let you come part of this society, and you got like a government ID and a driver's license.
The government's fault for not enforcing it the entire time,
right?
And then all at once enforcing it.
And that's where I'm like, okay,
yeah, but the same thing. I mean,
so it's not as in that case. It's not as simple as me like, well, the law's the law. Like it's like, well, we kind of like
you
embedded them into.
They were allowed to do it for a time, but then now you enforce it. I'm reminded of the steroid era in baseball. It's like you stopped enforcing the laws, but eventually you're like, okay, you can't do steroids. We all know this. And then all those guys that were using steroids were like, wait, you didn't
That
care.
equivalent for me is the criminal versions of these people who have entered and illegally lived
Okay,
here.
but you as a business owner, if you run let's run a business hypothesis here. You run a business, you have like 10,000 employees, and you guys do really well, and then one day you sort of start drifting, you get a little soft, start partying too much, go on too many vacations, and then you start enforcing like these sort of elements of your business, and then 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 of your 10,000 employees suddenly become like useless, right? And and then your company is suffering, things are going by the wayside. As a business owner, like you wouldn't go in and be like, oh, you know what? Like I allowed you all to do this by not enforcing the rules, so I'm just gonna let you all remain in the business and we'll work around it. No, you would just like fire everybody. You'd be like, no, it fucked up.
It wouldn't be that clean.
We
It'd be
have
like,
to-
fuck, we fucked up. So like y'all
wouldn't be that
got
clean,
nice
but-
severances, but like you're gone.
Yeah, you wouldn't just amnesty your whole company because like you would understand that the company would just cease to function.
Yeah, so the
right?
equivalent of this in my mind is like, here's an amnesty pathway. Like here's the qualifications. You've been here for 10 years. You've worked. You paid your
And
taxes.
set up some kind of tier system of like who we need to get rid of first. And the ones that maybe we want to keep that have been here for 10 years that have contributed, give them a pathway. Like there has to be some nuance.
Well, it's
I
just,
think
like,
I
you
think,
can't just drive around and hit a
amnesty is a
quota.
good idea. We couldn't do amnesty before because like if you do amnesty while the border's still open, you just incentivize
Exactly.
more people
That's
to
a
come
good
in.
point.
But if you completely
Yeah.
shut down the border, you close it, and then you go, here's what we're gonna do.
Now we're going to deal
We're
with what
gonna
we
throw
have.
everybody who's a bad dude way the fuck out, and we're gonna like put him enforce some process to amnesty. I think it's a good idea. Like I'm in favor of that. Step one though is you have to shut down the border,
which is
because-
done. That's
which
done.
is done.
I think so.
So look, like I don't like agree with everything that's
Look,
happening
at the
right
end
now.
of the day, like
I don't.
the world is going to speak for itself and people are going to speak for themselves. The reaction we're seeing, if we assume it's organic, is speaking for itself. There's blowback occurring and civil unrest as a result of the treatment of
There is, but like there is
People in the
majority
country.
support in the country still for what's happening, and
there's
you are
majority
seeing
support is the most popular like thing I've seen in a long time to close the border and
Yeah.
to not allow like 100%. I was in on it. Everyone I know was started to become even like left-leaning people that I knew were like, it makes sense. I get it. We need to do it. How you do it, you got to be a human about it. Like you got to be human about everything. You got to be human. Like there's laws. There's abortion. Abortion is a very blurry, nuanced topic. There's so many analogies to this that the law is evolving, and it's a debate and it's a discussion and about how you approach it.
But even the blowback, though, the blowback is what? People lighting Waymos on fire, waving Mexican flags on
Well,
top
we
of
can-
them,
no,
throwing
let's
bricks
go to
through
that.
Yeah,
windows.
let's
go to
like,
that.
that's not
I mean,
even.
that's- no.
It's not like real blowback. Like,
Okay, so
if
the-
that's your blowback, then
yeah. The
I
whole
think
thing
everyone's
is like
happy.
a giant political ad like for Trump right now.
I
you know?
agree.
It's
I
kind of-
agree. And
I'm more against how the blowback than I am how people are being treated. Like that is even worse.
yeah, I was curious. What do you guys think? Like one of the toughest parts of this, speaking of like what's real, what's not, is I'm trying to figure out who's rioting. And I have like I haven't researched this out. You know, my guess is that it's actually potentially the bad people that we want out is one group. And then on the other side, it's like actual American citizens who like to do the virtue signaling. Right. So it's like those two
Yeah.
somehow find
always
themselves in the
find
same
each other.
camp.
But there's also just naive people, I think, who just get
Okay,
sucked
yeah,
into stuff.
I would probably lump them in the same camp, like naive, virtue signaling, and then
Yeah.
actually bad
And then
people,
the people
like,
that like make signs, you know, like
Those are the virtues.
and then potentially you have like
significance, you know.
you have like political optimizers, operators who are like, well, this would be good for us if they did this, and then like enablers, right?
Yeah.
To do for their own means. So those are the groups that I think are there. The groups that I don't think are there are the people who you just mentioned, like the mother and father who are separated and who have
shit.
been like following the
Living their
rules,
lives.
and like I actually don't think they're there. One, because I don't think that they'd be the type to like go and
you-
light
You
cars
li-
on fire
you
because
put
they're
your- well, first of all, you put yourself in harm's way by going there.
yeah. So that's what's kind of messed up about this, and it's tough to figure out because like how I feel about it is determined by like who is actually doing these things. And I
Yeah.
can't imagine that the people that we'd actually fight for, like if you knew someone who was in this camp who was about to get shipped off, and you'd be like, whoa, this person is not the type of person you should ship off.
Right.
I don't think they're there. So I find little empathy and sympathy for them getting cracked down on.
What the people that are fighting against this treatment need to get right is that you don't fight this by like supporting your like personal like nationality and ethnicity and where you're from. You don't do this by raising a Mexican flag. You actually accomplish this by saying, I am an American, and here's why I deserve to be here, if there is a reason that you can argue for. You do it by being America first. You don't do it by the irony of leaving Mexico and coming here and then raising a Mexican flag and saying, I'm not leaving. That is what some people are finding very ironic and struggling with, and doesn't make sense to people outside of the bubble of like the protesters.
I agree with that, but like even within like the right, there's this like built-in hypocrisy because like I agree with the flag thing, but like I also agree that like everybody shouldn't like we shouldn't be like waving like Israeli flags and stuff either. Like it's fine to wave an Israeli flag, I think, in isolation, but like the same people who are like pissed off that people are waving Mexican flags on burning cars are like totally chill with like a different group of like white people like waving Israeli flags, and like it's okay to be like really like pro-Israel and like Israel first, but like it's not okay to be like Mexico first. I think like it's fine to support the country you're from, but all of that should be like a very strong backseat to
it's
like
a secondary.
America. It
It's
should be
like these huge marches in Germany of like
yeah. But that should be like a universal standard. Like I like
Yeah.
that's like a thing that
what
annoys
I'm
me
saying.
right now
Yeah.
about like the right is weird because there's like half the right doesn't like the Israel thing, and like half the right is like super like philo-Semitic. So there's like kind of like this subdivision between like all of the political parties. Like it's a weird time. Like it's not like left right anymore.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
not.
right, and then there's 4 factions on the right, and then there's 4 factions on the left.
Well, as somebody
So it's a
who's like
complete
zoomed out,
clusterfuck.
I'm like zoomed out from most of this stuff, but I feel like the flag that's getting waved that's not American is like constantly changing. Like it was the Ukrainian flag not too long ago, and what you're saying it's the
There
Israeli
was a
flag,
Palestinian
flag, like Mexican flag. Like, is that just one of the constants? Is that like there's always some like stand that Americans, I guess, are taking where it's like, no, this.
Okay, so like one of the things that annoys me about one of the things that annoyed me about like BLM and that annoys me about this is that there's like a large group of people using the sort of whatever the thing is to mask like the true motivation of what they want, right? So like under BLM there was like the George Floyd stuff, racism, but actually like a huge swath of what underlay like that was like actually just like it was just like anti-Western civilization, anti-America, right? And then you have this like thing that is this sort of like proxy for you to kind of push that agenda in the back door. And it's the same thing here in LA. Like there are I have no doubt there are a lot of people who are just genuinely interested in like the issue at hand. But I think there are these like interest groups that are fundamentally like anti-America, anti-West that I think are like fomenting these things, and they're using this as like a wedge issue to push like a larger anti-capitalist, anti-Western agenda. And that is the thing that
Are you talking about domestic forces or non-domestic forces?
Both.
Both.
Like I definitely think look, this is like very obvious. Like if you're like the Chinese or the Russians, like you don't think you're like nudging this a little bit? Like you don't think you have like some front group there and you're like giving them money for bricks or something? Of course you are. Like you're so fucking naive if you think that's not happening. But like that is intertwined with a bunch of people like legitimately protesting on their own, like of their own volition, like not knowing that they're a part of this like complex network of like foreign actors or something.
The foreign actors, it's like, okay, I get why they do it. Like their incentives are aligned. They totally makes sense they're doing it. The ones that I find most interesting is like the domestic ones. Like even the mayor of LA was kind of like continue to protest against this, almost to be like, no, keep going, because we want to show them, as in them, the federal government, that like we're not okay with this. So do what you can to get in the way of these ICE arrests deportations, and keep going. And that was like, it was kind of mind blowing to me. Like, I granted she disagrees with it. She has an agenda, but that seemed to be like the one path you don't want an American mayor to go down, which is like encouraging citizens to just be, human human blocks of like federal policy.
Karen Bass is a good example of that. Like Karen Bass like doesn't like America. Karen Bass doesn't like
Karen Bass.
capitalism.
LA mayor.
She's like
And I didn't say that, but that's
fundamentally,
what I was thinking. Is she doesn't like it.
anti-capitalist, anti-Western, anti-colonialist, like it just doesn't like all that shit. Like all of these issues that come up are just like means to an end of pushing like an anti-capitalist, like anti-Western, anti-American agenda. And I think like people like me want to stand up and be like, look, America has problems. Like, yeah, we've done a lot of bad shit. There's a lot of problems with America. But like fundamentally, this is like a great nation. It's a great system. And on balance, it's produced like an enormous amount of good for the world. And like people here have like rights and freedoms that have like never existed in like the entirety of human civilization. And it's something that's like worth protecting. And I just like hate seeing it undermined.
Here's how I think I know she's anti-American, or let's just call them she's not constructive in this because she has all the limelight, right? Literally the world is looking at Los Angeles. And if she had a constructive motive, she would use it to push the policy. Like she would use like the BBC, every network in America to be like, what I want is an amnesty program, and here are the criteria, and this is what I want to do. And every single fucking time she went on the news and made a statement, she'd update, but then push the like policy change. And like, I haven't seen any of that. Maybe I missed it, but like that's how I feel. Like I know she's not constructive in this. She's a destructive force, and she thinks that's progress.
Yeah, and I just think she's legitimately just fucking stupid. Unlike Gavin Newsom, who I think is like quite intelligent, but like is sort of like a chameleon. And
He's
like
a different, but that's a different.
like,
That's different because
totally
he's running
different.
for president, so he's on a
Yes.
whole different paradigm, operating on different rules in a different framework. So you can't even like
He's a LARP.
you can't even just don't
Oh,
pay
for
attention
sure.
to him, right? Because
For
he's
sure.
on a different rule set, right? Like he just needs to look better than Trump, and Trump.
No,
type
I mean he's
candidates.
I mean you see him on Twitter. He's obviously like leveraging this for like a future bid, like as I would too.
Yeah.
In his shoes, but it's just like.
But instead of suing the federal government, I'd be like, well, how do I just solve the problem and get the fires and the riots off the goddamn cameras so that people will think I'm somewhat
just
of
like-
a good operator of a state, let alone a country.
It's just like rioting and crime and like property damage they're just sort of like tacitly supported in California, right? That's why the problem exists, right?
Yeah, this stuff always happens in California. Always San
It's not like
Francisco,
everything
LA.
was going like hunky dory and then like, oh, Trump sent like his story is like everything was fine and then you sent the military in and now like everything is really bad, which is like the same COVID logic, which is like, oh, let's just let them tire themselves out. Like after they burn down half the city, they'll just get sleepy and like
Well,
go
it's like
to bed or something. It was just like a weird.
Well, we don't have
thing.
any compassion for the Waymos.
Bro, the poor
Dude,
they're
I gotta tell you, what an experience.
Those poor Waymos. Those poor Waymos. are
Driving
getting-
one, not burning
I
one,
poured
I
one
assume.
out last
Yeah.
night for the Waymo.
Yeah. Well, you just rode in one.
Yeah,
In
Did you
SF.
feel physical pain when you saw people just calling them to the riots and just to burn them?
it was pretty crazy.
Well, hold on. What did
I
it
will
feel
say it
when you
was-
were in one? What did it feel like?
It's like a ghost was driving the car.
Yeah.
But did you feel safe?
Oh yeah.
You did.
Within 1 minute, I was like, at first, I was like, this is fucking crazy.
But you felt safe because the car felt safe driving you. But then what about like the people that were looking at you from outside the car?
Oh yeah, did not feel safe.
Like you felt like you were getting mean
I
mugged.
thought we might get a brick thrown at us.
Funny dynamic. You're more scared
It
of
was
the people.
a few
than
days
the
before
actual
all these
self-driving
riots
car.
in San Francisco. I'm riding Waymos around for the AI Engineers World Fair. Phenomenal event, by the way. Anyone out there, which this one I think applies to more people in our community, anyone working in AI, you have to be at the AI Engineers World Fair next year. It was awesome.
Sounds rad.
And
actually.
let's have a little meetup. It was amazing. But
I'm guessing that was like
Waymos
in
are coming.
financial district. So
It was right in Yeah,
like
right
Soma
there.
or something
Yeah.
like where you
It was
might get
right off
mean mugged.
Mission and Fourth.
Yeah, you get mean mugged there.
Yeah. So like riding around in the Waymo was, San Francisco is full of political turmoil at all times, right? There's like the real SF people, like the artsy, like, natives, which there's very, 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 very few of now.
Yeah, that's dead.
And then there's like always like the new version of the tech bro. And then like our generation was like the Google, Facebook tech bro,
Early
but now
tech
it's
bro.
the startup AI tech bro. And things are constantly in a juxtaposition there in San Francisco. People outside San Francisco don't realize that, but San Francisco is actually a very sort of tumultuous city in terms of like its own ethos. It's not a very, well, that's a deeper conversation. It is a very liberal city, but there are counter movements that exist on a micro scale. So like when I got in the Waymo, I 100% watched people like just mean mug us, talking about us, talking like pulling down the window, being like, "What are you doing?" Like I was like, "What? I thought this was normal here. There's so many of them," and everyone who's getting in one is getting like attacked, basically, like verbally, and then a few days later they're getting lit on fire. They're coming to San Diego, right?
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, this year.
I was
I don't
actually
know if
asking,
that'll still happen.
well, I was asking somebody earlier if we have them yet.
Yeah, they're
Apparently.
coming. It was on the local news recently. But, here's a picture. Everyone has probably seen it who lives on the internet. But, I mean, this is
Is
what...
he standing on a Waymo?
Yeah.
A burning Waymo. No, that's a police car.
So
No, that's a Waymo.
what do you think about the numb nuts that order this thing? He's like, I'm gonna get the man. I'm gonna order one here, and then we're gonna demolish it. And then Google's just like looking at the logs and be like, well, here's the guy we need to put in jail for 10 years.
How do
a
you
mask on.
how do you identify him? Can
got a mask
Palantir
on.
do that?
Yeah.
By his abs?
Yeah, they just look at the order data and be like, oh, here's his phone device ID.
It's an interesting look.
Here's the name. Here's the
waving
credit
a,
card info.
Mexican flag. As you
I've
ride
as
towards
time has
property.
gone by, I find that so fascinating because in college, like when I was basically a Marxist, I could completely understand the idea of like how the left feels about America. The way the left feels about America is that it's anti-America. It's that America is greater if it appreciates all of the variety of the nationalities that exist within America.
Because that's what makes it great.
Except for white people.
Yeah, white people aren't that important. Yeah. Like
Lose
it's
'em.
everyone else, and their flag is most important.
Yes, and if any other
And-
country on planet Earth that is a brown country enforces immigration, that's okay.
Yeah,
But it's not okay here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because
Are
why
you
would-
talking about like Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Egypt?
Like literally,
No, any other country.
I would challenge you to find literally any nation on fucking planet Earth where they're like brown or otherwise non-white people enforcing like some sort of strict border policy and deporting people, and then people in America on the left are like, "Oh my God, no, you can't do that." No, it's like fine. It's
Yeah,
just
well,
like
'cause that just
but this
makes
like leads
sense.
into what I'm talking about, which is like there's no ideological consistency here. Like underlying it all is just like, oh, we don't like white people in Western civilization, basically. That's the only thing that tie all this stuff together. And the Waymo thing is a good example, right? Because on the one hand, you were driving in a Waymo, and then people are like basically throwing bricks at you. Why? Because presumably because like, oh, Waymos, they're taking jobs from people or something, right? Like you could be like, oh, we don't like technology because it's
just
like
an
taking jobs.
anti-technology general movement, which is so ironic.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But then
in the mecca
In
of
SF.
technology and
In
the,
SF. Yeah,
I call
you-
it mission control for humanity. Everything comes out of SF Silicon Valley.
I got
There's
that.
this juxtaposition.
But like here's the inconsistency. Like if on the one hand you were like, I don't like Waymos, like I'm trying to protect like the jobs of these people, like I'm like Cesar Chavez or something, organized labor, then there would be a consistency there. But like they're throwing bricks at Waymos, and then they're like, no, more illegal immigration, more immigrants to deliver my DoorDash to me fucking cheaply and to suppress the wages of these people. And then also I simultaneously support Amazon unionization. Just like it doesn't make any fucking goddamn sense. Like it's all completely like it's a clusterfuck. That's why it drives me nuts. It's not even like I disagree with the policy. It's just like it's nonsensical.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
Have a little compassion.
It's feels like selective order and selective chaos. Selective order, like COVID is an obvious example, but like even when SF cleaned up the streets for China visiting. Selective
Yep,
order.
Yep. Yep.
L.A.
Apparently, homelessness is solved.
Yeah, yeah.
So weird.
Yeah. L.A. Selective chaos. It's like they pick and choose, and it's like, man, like I feel like our little Sim City here, California, is not. I don't want that to be played with in terms of selective order, selective chaos. Like, give me a fucking, like a consistent framework and let me choose which one is which. Like sometimes you can be incredibly overhanded, and then sometimes you can be like, let's let it burn, and it's so confusing.
Well, at least we're talking about it, unlike these guys.
Oh,
They're on the screen, missing in action.
Has anyone seen these 4 podcasters?
Where
So
are
if you're
these
not
guys?
watching, you're missing out.
It's a
Unintended.
It's a missing poster for who?
Missing poster for the 4 hosts of the All In podcasts. Where are you when the world needed you?
Dude, Sax literally hasn't even tweeted in like a week.
I don't blame him.
Oh, come on.
I mean-
I blame him. It's a fucking
Come
bitch ass
on,
move.
don't
like,
be a
take
bitch.
a stand.
Damn, bitch ass
Come on,
move, bitch
man.
made.
Have a take. You're paid to have a take. You built your brand on having a take.
It's true.
It's your time to have a
It was
take.
really funny too
Have
because
a
Jason did a
take.
whole like emergency pod thing.
Yeah.
And then they're just
and then
like,
Sachs was like, "Fuck that."
sure.
Either they recorded and then said,
Yep.
"Don't
They probably
publish."
recorded it and they were like,
Yeah.
oh god.
Well, because things changed.
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
No,
think I don't think
things
they
did not
recorded anything.
change Friday.
No, I think you're right that like eventually when you get big enough as a podcaster, you become a part of this like controlled voice. And they're the biggest example of this because David Sachs is part of the fucking cabinet.
So here's why. I actually at first I was like, who cares what they say or don't say? I mean, I'm a fan of it. I listen to almost every one, maybe every other one.
Lame.
Wow.
I'm more of a hate listener.
Okay, yeah, I could find myself
I listen
more
once a year.
more recently, but
I listen to every
Do you
episode.
listen?
No, I'm like appalled by all of you. The once a year is already too much.
No, I literally don't listen.
Once a
Okay.
year is too much.
here's why it might be important though: is like who gets custody over the media? Is it
I thought you were gonna say who gets custody.
is
of
it the
Joe Rogan.
techno?
Because that's a huge question for me.
No, it's the same
You
question.
want to step on him?
Okay.
And just go straight with this.
Who gets
I do too. I do too. Let's just go with it.
Who gets custody?
Better question.
Who gets custody over Rogan? Who gets custody over Theo Vaughn? Who gets custody over the All In podcast? Because that is like what Stephen was saying earlier. It's like, oh, this is the independent one where everyone gets their news from. So
It's funny. It's become the media outlet of the number 1 and number 2 most influential people in the world.
do the technocrats get it, or does the like an administration
Does it
get
become
custody?
like easily bifurcated where like the techno people go to All In and like the normal bros go to Joe Rogan?
No, but like, why would Joe Rogan, like he's a big fan of the president. He comes to his work at UFC. He sees him all the time. He's also the president.
Or does like everybody just go with
He's
the president
literally the
and
black-
Nobody goes with Elon.
The
Elon's
president is
by
the
himself.
black hole of power in the world, right? Like,
I
feel like
think
everybody
most
leans
people
Elon.
will go Elon. And the reason is that Elon is for the rest of his life and Donald is 3 more years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Elon was
Valid.
right when he said the only reason why Donald won is because I jumped on board. I feel like that's true.
Yeah, I mean, but he was being
Partially
so
true.
fucking immature.
I don't think it's literally true. I think he still wins anyway. But
It would have
like,
been so close.
it would have been close. Yeah.
I think he
for
still
sure.
would have had it.
I mean, Elon was definitely.
I
like,
think people were so over it that Trump still would have won, but Elon definitely made
he
the
helped.
landslide.
He helped
$200
a
million
lot. He helped a
is-
lot.
and
undoubtedly.
a whole media platform. Like,
And then the Pennsylvania thing.
He was also just like obviously in like a fucking K-hole when he tweeted the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you.
God knows
Why
what
is that
it's-
so obvious? I mean, is he just
he
like
was drugged
is
out.
he just always in a K-hole? I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, he
think
seems like
so.
he's in a K-hole a lot.
He like admitted that he's on K for depression.
but have you noticed he's
He's
got
seen
some,
like the videos of him. He's like in the corner, like,
I haven't seen that.
oh
But
my god.
Did you see the
There's a
one
lot
in the
of them.
White House where he was like
Yeah.
losing
So that's
it?
what I saw too, and I was like looking at symptoms
Like,
of
he
being
just
on
wanted to be
ketamine.
like, I hate you. I hate you.
Hold on. I've done ketamine. I don't look like that.
Well, so I asked
He might have been something
I asked a
else.
buddy that, and he's like, "No, dude, that's just the autism. Like you just
Yeah, that's what I think.
It might
No.
have been, but he also just looked like he had just got knocked out. He had the black eye. He said his son punched him in the face. That's a lie. No one looks at their sensitivity.
Oh my God!
Fucking
Did you
punch
hear?
me.
Did you hear
Punch
that?
me.
Did you hear that?
Do you
Besson,
know that's what he admitted?
like fucking attacked Elon.
He had a black eye in the White
Wait, hold on.
House.
Besson hit him?
Yeah.
Word on the street.
Word on the street is that Besson and Elon got into a little bit of a verbal altercation,
Hold
and
on,
then
is this-
Elon like kind of shoulder checked Besson, and then Besson fucking clocked him in the face.
This is gnarly.
awesome.
First of all, this is gnarly. Second
That's
of all,
awesome.
is this a hate crime? Because that's a gay on straight assault.
Reverse
Reverse hate crime.
Reverse-
Sorry,
hate crime.
who's gay?
Besson.
God, Beth is
Or-
gay.
Yeah,
He lives
Treasury
in a
Secretary.
giant pink Barbie mansion.
There's
Okay.
no such thing as a reverse hate crime. But if this
Apparently,
were
has a great right hook though.
if this was like
Le-
the inverse, then they'd be called a hate crime.
Seems
Yeah.
like he clocked him.
So hold on.
I like
Besson
how he
clocked
did
him.
Besson's.
I
a
told
Chad.
my son X to just punch me in the face.
Hold on.
Shut up.
Besson's huge guy. I think he's like.
Well, Elon's
They're
definitely
both
huge.
big guys. Yeah.
I think Besson's like tall as fuck.
I mean, they're both like 6'3", I think.
Should we get the tail of the tape?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we
the
need to know
point
what the reach is.
The point was Elon is cracked out, and
don't buy it.
And he went too far, and then he said, "I went too far. I regret going too
I
far."
mean, and
now no one knows what to do with these four.
So you got none
Do
of
you
these.
think they're being little bitches?
yes, they are being little bitches.
They're missing.
So- Give, like, billions of
Steven,
dollars.
I want
Take
you
a
to
stand.
really, I want you to really have some compassion.
I don't have any compassion for Chamath.
No, I want. Oh, nobody
There's
does.
nobody on earth I have less compassion.
Okay,
How about
hold
for
on.
Jason?
Chamath.
I want you to hold on. I want you
Jason,
to
I have
No.
slightly more compassion for than
put
Chamath,
the,
but
put
still
the
negative
full
compassion.
put the full costume on. Ready?
Okay.
You have this podcast. It's us four, except you're Jason, and a lot of people listen, way more than right now. And you're also the guy that is close to Donald Trump, the president of the United States, and Elon Musk, basically the most powerful man in the world, most extraordinary entrepreneur of all time. You've had them both on. You created like the movement to bring them both into power, or you helped. You ushered it. You are the media outlet for it, and they just got in a fight, a little squabble, and it's pretty bad. One just basically told the other one that he's a pedophile and should go to jail and should be impeached, and that he wants to take over the whole government with a new party. And you're like, what the fuck do I do? Which one do I support? If we all get into a conversation, us four, we're going to disagree. It's going to look ugly. What do you do?
So you're Jason now.
You're any of them, whichever one you want to be.
No, he's Jason.
Yeah, you're the mod. You're
If
the
I'm-
one. You
if-
decide if we do a pod. You decide if we do a pod, and we're all close to those two. What do you do?
If I'm Jason, I'm like, we have to do a pod, and then like Chamath like bitch slaps me, and he's like, we're not doing a pod, and I go, okay, and then that's it.
Okay, you're Steven.
No, hold
and
on. I feel
we're
like,
the Alfalfa podcast, and we're close with Donald Trump and Elon Musk. What do you do?
You know, I have like billions of dollars. I don't know. I might be a different person and do shitty things and not rock the boat. I don't want to be like, oh, I would do different things. I don't know. You know,
Wow. I got the tail of the tape.
what's the tail of the tape?
Okay. Elon Musk, 53 years old. Besant, 62. Height, Elon, 6'2". Besant, 6'4" and 1/2 inches.
Ooh.
told you he was
That
big.
means he's also got the reach.
Told you he's big.
Weight, comparable. It says like around
Six-
190 pounds. They both
6'4"
look a little
is no
bigger
joke.
than that.
Yeah, I was in college.
Net worth, Elon, 388 billion. Besant, around 1 billion.
Oh
Tail of the tape.
God.
I feel like a 1 billionaire punches harder.
Imagine being worth 1 billion and then some guy's like 400 times richer than you.
Eric, what do you do?
If a guy's 400 billion times richer than me,
No.
Yes.
If
Yes.
we're friends
Yes.
with Elon and Trump, do we do the episode?
no way. No way. You can't do it.
You're also
Why?
forgetting the financial interests, like
That's
the
what I'm
massive
saying.
financial
I just want
interests.
to. I want to understand this. Teach me. What is the cost?
You let it settle, and Elon just did them a huge favor. He apologized on Twitter, and so
But
now
then
they
you're
have a
gonna-
path.
You're going to lose what you were known for, what brought you to prominence. If you're willing to lose that, which is that we discuss heavy, interesting, nuanced topics that are going on in tech and politics, and we're trusted for that, then you're willing to put that aside, fine.
That's right.
But you're not going to be trusted for that
But
anymore.
they've
You're not
already
going to be a source of truth.
But I don't
anymore.
trust him
It
for that.
doesn't matter. Though.
they've attained the prominence. It
We-
doesn't matter like to like achieve prominence. They've attained it already, and they're in the president's cabinet.
It's
Yeah,
an easy
done.
explain away, though. You're like, while we were recording, when we finished, it was completely outdated, and so we just was like, we'll give it a week, and
You
we'll.
just say you were working.
Well,
Like,
they
you
didn't
did nothing.
explain it.
We see the same thing.
You
on,
said
like,
they're being bitches. Why? So
they're-
you would do it.
Well, look, everybody says they would do it, and then you get in a situation,
That's
and then
why I'm
you
asking
realize
these
that.
questions.
But I was like, honestly, like, I don't know if I would do it. Like, if I achieved like
That's why I
actual
tried to
escape
paint
philosophy.
the real picture. I think people think they would do it, but if they were them, I don't think they would.
I mean, like, yeah, I like to think.
I'm not saying I
but
disagree with you
I'm
guys.
not saying I would.
I'm trying to paint the real picture.
This
for
is like an
people.
inherent problem. Like you see this on like crypto Twitter, right? Like who are the best trading accounts to follow have like 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers because they're small. They don't have, like their audience is like
Magic
tight.
lines.
Then you get to like 100,000 followers, and then most of the people following you become like kind of like weirdos or like they're just like a shitty audience. You get captured by the audience, and then like everybody gets to become a big account, and then they stop posting like trades and stuff. Like the trades is a good example. Like there are people who are like they're great traders. They get and then they get 300,000 followers, and then they stop posting trades because it's like posting a take. They post like the take. They post the trade. The trade's wrong because you're wrong half the time you trade, and then you have to deal with 280,000 like morons just chewing you out. And it's way easier to just like keep your giant audience, all your power. You just be
Well,
like an idiot. It doesn't
Can I
go
tell
away.
you what I think the right move is? I would do it, and if you guys didn't show up, I would do it myself. And this is what I would say. And I know we would do it. I know we would do it because this would be my pitch to you. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna speak the truth. We're not gonna talk shit about anybody. We're gonna express how we actually feel. Both people showed up, who we're both friends with or acquaintances with, and we're gonna say things that we would say to their faces anyway. I think Elon was behaving in a little bit of an irrational way. And I know he probably didn't really mean that. And if you just spoke the truth in that moment, even if it did blow over, because you also know these two don't even like each other. Everybody knows this was just an arranged marriage for money and power. Anybody with a brain knows that. And that it was always going to fall apart. Now the world knows publicly, it's been revealed that this was an arranged marriage. Great. Well, guess what? All you do is you talk about that. You talk about how there was a collaboration, and that collaboration eventually fell apart. There was a disagreement, and these things happen, and you do the pod, and you have the discussion, and you don't say anything mean or offensive about anybody. And then they're both still welcome to show up because you were critical in a respectful way. And I think that's how you pull that pod off, and it would have been fine. And you know what?
Do you bring up the ketamine or you leave it out?
Airing your friend's dirty laundry, like on a public pod. That's pretty gnarly.
He talked about doing it publicly. That was a public reveal.
I would never do that to you.
No, I'm saying Elon said publicly he does ketamine. So I think it would have been fine.
He should have showed up on the pod high on ketamine and just gone for it.
Why is he doing ketamine?
I mean, it's pretty great, to be honest.
Never done it.
You should,
I don't know. I don't do drugs.
in moderation.
Well,
You don't do drugs? We know
what do
that's
you
not
count?
true.
What do you count?
You've
Caffeine.
literally talked about doing
Don't call nicotine a drug now.
caffeine, mushrooms,
Oh, I had an episode on that. Yeah. Are those drugs?
THC.
Are those drugs?
Nah, it's from the earth.
Everything's from the
Mama Pacha, baby.
frickin' earth.
Mama Pacha, I do the good stuff. Oh,
You guys want to talk a little money before we
yeah.
bounce out of here?
Yeah, 'cause I have to pee very badly.
Okay.
I
Well,
want
this money
more
will
to
keep
drink.
you in your seat.
Well,
You didn't bring a third bottle?
Say
need
that
a
for
fourth bottle.
Say that for din.
Mm,
We're going to an Italian restaurant. You can
go get a beer.
let it rip.
if you get a beer, grab me a beer. If there's a Negro Modelo in the back of the fridge,
Yeah, yes, sir.
or a Modelo Negra, as Nick said the other day, feels wrong.
So, I wanted to ask you guys. I guess it's kind of what Arman was saying. He was like, I thought I was getting like fiscal austerity, and now I don't know which one we're getting. So I got option A, option B, option C. Tell me which one you guys think we're gonna get, because it determines if we're pre-rich or not. Paradigm A. By the way, this is Darius Dale's like framework, so
Okay.
cred.
It's not plagiarized if you cite.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So paradigm A, the baseline bottom Biden era model of excessive stimulus, bloated government spending, and easy Fed policy. Paradigm A. Paradigm B, the feared shift towards fiscal austerity with tariffs, reduced government spending, and tightening to restore Main Street. It's B. Paradigm C, the hybrid Paradigm A plus, stimulus plus supply side tax cuts, deregulation, and strategic reshoring and defense spending. Think a turbocharged stimulus funnel with supply side incentives. Those are three. I guess maybe A and C are kind of
The most bullish.
the most bullish, right? Because
Could you describe the difference between A and C again?
so A is all the fiscal stimulus, basically like massive deficit, government programs and government spending.
Please take it. Please take it.
I can't.
Do I have to do the Persian thing with you?
I can't.
I
do it.
insist. You
No,
take
he's
the beer.
he's tarofing. He's like you
can't
have
do
you
it.
have to set it down on his table.
Please, just take the.
No.
Take the beer.
That's not a
There's fun
good.
beers.
Take the.
No,
take
that-
take the beer.
No, I can't do it.
See, you both are tarofing.
I can't do it. No,
Tarofing.
This would
I'll
be
never
like
drink that
a
beer.
perfect time for me.
No.
Like,
It's
I have an
going
extra beer in my pocket.
I will never drink.
You're
that
legitimately
beer.
not going to drink.
I'm not
that
even
beer.
gonna look at that beer.
He's not going to drink.
You're gonna drink it. You're gonna enjoy it for me.
I've been out to roast.
Yeah.
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 I've been out to
Yeah,
roast.
well done. Well
Yeah.
said.
So in this game, by the way, you failed.
Yeah.
So just to let you know,
But look.
But I'm happy.
I am
I'm
he's saying
happy.
he's happy.
in my line of work. You have to know when to just like cut your losses and take the L. And
it.
I could see that I was just going to take an L there.
No,
All right, you took the L. You won the
I took the
beer.
L. Took the L and I gained a B.
I'll take a Zindo or something. I don't know what kind of
Give
drugs.
this
you guys
man a
got.
Zen.
Oh,
Here's a man who doesn't do drugs.
this is my first. this is my first Zen in 3 weeks.
Okay, so Sesame Street.
Sesame Street.
ABCs.
Difference between Paradigm A and Paradigm C. Biden's version is just fiscal
Just
stimulus,
spend money.
dump federal government spending.
Okay.
Trump's apparently new plan, Paradigm C, is dump
Oh,
federal
Let
spending.
me show your image, please.
Oh yeah, you can zoom in. It's like
good thing?
it's boring, but it's like the
Oh, you gotta
GPT
notice.
summary of the paradigms if people want to read along. So Paradigm C is all the fiscal spending plus supply side stuff like tax cuts, deregulation. So it's like Biden, and then Biden plus Reagan, and then B was I don't know if we've ever had this, but like what Arman thought he was signing up for, which was like fiscal austerity, cut the government size.
Yeah, what happened to Doge?
Yeah,
Doge is dead.
it was a sham.
Was never doing anything.
There will
Wait.
be. I bet you there will be rescission bills that like.
Can I be vulnerable with you for a
Yeah,
second?
yeah.
Oh, I like this.
I spend a lot of time in the world of finance.
Really?
When these macro people start doing
that
like
what you
the letters, I got the V. I got the V. When they do the K, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
What do you mean the K-shaped economy?
What the fuck is the
recovery.
K?
No, you said the K-shape is actually.
What
yeah.
the K has a line like this at the edge, right?
Yeah, but they're not. They're ignoring that.
So we're just ignoring that.
We're ignoring the vertical line.
No, just call it like a side. Is it a sideways
No,
V?
no.
It
well,
sounds
yeah.
like a sideways V.
It's a sideways V.
All right.
It's an economy that benefits people in.
So
in
one
different
goes up,
ways.
one goes down.
Yeah.
That's a sideways V.
So rich get richer, poor get poor. Is
Yeah,
that the
makes sense.
K-shaped economy?
K. What the fuck is
The
no.
E-shaped economy made total sense.
The E, even the okay.
It's like an evening out of everything.
I always thought it was a lowercase e. I'm sorry.
Now I was like, man, we should come up with a framework, then we could sell subscriptions based on our framework.
This is a nice way to sound smart.
Um,
K-shaped economy.
anyway, either it was A pumped the market. C sounds like it's gonna really
So
pump
we're not
the
doing
market.
A. We're not doing B.
We're definitely not
we're
doing
doing
B.
C.
It's
We're doing
clearly
C.
We're in C.
And the only thing that can mess this up is like if unemployment just like somehow just starts rising. But like
But we're deporting all the.
exactly,
Yeah.
you're getting rid of the labor.
The low cost. Oh, I think inflation could also spike and throw a wrench in the gears.
Sure, it could toss the bond market into a tizzy.
Which, like, getting rid of cheap labor doesn't help inflation either.
No.
I wrote a
It's
note
not.
down about this, but in addition to the deportations and low immigration, there was another. Boomers are also retiring. Like the participation rate is declining. So those two things are decreasing the the supply of laborers. You have this other force, AI, which is like, we just don't need as many jobs. But in any case, it seems like pretty tough to kind of go into a massive unemployment streak when boomers are retiring and immigrants are piecing out or just not.
So wages go lower, inflation muted for a long period of time.
Sounds ripe for either a Goldilocks or a reflation.
Reflation, baby.
Reflation.
Yeah, you have growth up, inflation up. Goldilocks is growth up, inflation down, I believe. But in either case, you just long.
Yeah, just
balls
send it,
long.
Send it. I mean, yeah.
Guys, you have like 2 years left to hyper gamble your way into financial freedom before everything just falls apart.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. I'm only like
That's like
I'm only
so
I'm
you're
only
not-
25% joking.
Such
you're
financial nihilism, like. But I'm on board. I fully get it.
It's true though. You have this nasty combination of like technology
So you
replacing
play it
everybody
long
plus
with a
like
25% chance of just needing Bitcoin only. Is that what you're saying to me?
I think you just go fucking mega long because if it goes to zero, then everybody around you lost everything and they're just going to come out with pitchforks anyway and they'll just print money.
We got a little welfare state. You live off the government check. You're fine. Send it.
Right, but that's like your safety net.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is you may as well. This is probably like not a thing I should be saying on the air to a bunch of people, but like you may as well hyper gamble. Like if you got nothing to like it's different if you're like kind of like almost there. You've got like some stuff to lose. Like I get that, but if you've got nothing to lose, you may as well hyper gamble. Because worst case, like they have to just throw you and all the other plebs a bone so that you don't like burn the entire country down.
I was saying in the politics channel recently, I'm going to get lower and lower as this pod goes on, I can tell.
Sink in.
I think the goal is to get as rich as possible in the next 5 years.
That's always the goal.
Well,
But it's especially important now, I think.
thank you for saying it for
I
me.
think.
You know what I realized what the number is, by the way? When you say get as rich as possible, it's always like 2 to 3 times as much as you currently have.
Never going to regret having more.
Yeah, but like that's always the like goalpost. This is the goalpost move. It's always like 2 to 3 times as much as
if you have the ability to do so, make sure you just have 1 Bitcoin just outside of everything.
Oh,
just 1 Bitcoin.
And like sovereignly
Just-
managed or whatever.
Don't have it in Coinbase. Don't have it on Ethereum and BTC.
What about in my Schwab account or my Fidelity
Definitely
account?
don't do that.
Ooh.
what are you talking about? You're talking about like
IBIT doesn't
on my
count?
wallet, my cold storage?
Yeah, you need to have just like if you can.
Why wouldn't you?
I know
Why-
it's a lot of
why
money
is it a can?
because some people don't have $100,000.
Oh,
as
no,
like
but
a
I mean-
side thing.
110
the
cents.
can part, you're just talking about having it off of the
Yes,
of
if
the
you have the
central
ability to do so, and you can just get 1 Bitcoin
and decentralized.
out of the system, like
Okay.
truly out
What does that mean? It just means putting it on a ledger
on a
wallet?
wallet, on a ledger, just
That's not
not
hard.
yet, not in a custodied sex account, not
Because
in a
all of
wrapped
it is at
Ethereum
risk.
thing. What's that?
All of it is at risk in a cataclysmic event.
It's financial repression. Like if shit really hits the fan, they
could all
will
get frozen
start.
overnight.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, the ETF Bitcoin.
It's not real.
We gotta like, we're gonna have
Excuse me,
to.
sir,
We have to
does
do a
the-
one-time
Does my
one-time
Ethereum
assessment.
count? Does my Ethereum count in my cold storage?
Oddly enough, yes.
Yeah, I know it does. It actually does. Ethereum is the same as Bitcoin in this use case.
Except worse in most ways.
Yeah. But in the it doesn't exist. It's not sole purpose is to
Ethereum
like, be
to me at this
thing.
point is unicorn fart dust.
Oh no.
Does that still exist?
Yeah,
No,
What?
dude.
it's like 100 million market cap coin.
Okay, hold on. So Ethereum is about to make a massive run, I think.
Looks
Never heard that before.
it looks juicy. And
No,
I,
this
to the
time's
point where
different,
I'm like, is this a sign that because I'm
I
checking the
thought
prices
nothing ever happens.
more often than I've ever checked in? I'm like,
Nothing
oh,
does
I
ever
told
happen.
myself.
You know what happened? David Hoffman came to San Diego and he said he owned more Bitcoin than Ethereum.
I still don't believe you guys.
By the way, the nothing ever happens. When I said nothing ever happens, like yesterday, Elon, or this morning, Elon's like, I regret some things I said. And then Trump's like, we're cool. And then it's just like, okay,
Oh,
I
did
guess
Trump
it's like-
respond?
yeah, I guess it's just over now.
Did Trump respond?
I think so, yeah. Actually,
I
I
saw
can't
the
tell
Elon
anymore
tweet.
because like half of the Trump tweets I see are just fake. So,
Yeah, because
but like, you can't tell that they're fake because they sound like stuff he would say.
Yeah.
Even the videos, we're just like, I'm hereby ordering all big booty Latinas are exempt from deportation. I'm just like, is that fake? I don't know.
Can I compliment Trump? Talk about a guy who, well, it's not a compliment. He's just like he's a whore. So like he'll just like be friends with you, but it's to his advantage.
Did you just say, can I compliment Trump?
Yeah,
And call him a whore?
he's a great businessman in the sense that he'll do the deal with you and he'll
Unbelievable
align
hooker.
with you and he'll be your ally if you compliment him. And if you don't, he's your enemy. He'll put you down and he'll give you a funny
Is
name.
that a laudable trait?
Yeah, because what he does is he forgives people. He's had JD Vance called him a Nazi. Like, he will come back around if you become his fan. He's such a narcissist that the moment you're on his team,
But then was he ever
forgives
mad at you truly in the first place?
Not really. He's
Right,
mad at you in the
so-
sense that you're his enemy in that moment.
Are you that
But
noble for
he's
forgiving
not-
somebody that you were never
I'm
actually
trying
really
to
mad
find
at?
something to like. The fact is, he doesn't hold a grudge forever. He's
the
like,
fat
"Oh,
shot."
you're done with me? You're not upset with me anymore?
He
Okay,
doesn't hold a grudge.
let's make money
It's
together."
incredible.
There
He,
is no grudge.
he doesn't hold grudges.
You just have to say one nice thing about
And
it.
he's back on your team. He's like, "Yeah, I've always liked Elon. We had our moments, you know. Him and Elon. He's a little weird, and he likes ketamine, but you know, we're friends again." And that's it. I can't do a Trump
That was
accent.
that was the
no,
worst
I can't
Trump
do it.
accent
It
I've
wasn't.
ever-
It was just kind of different. It wasn't a Trump
Dude,
accent.
I saw Shane Gillis the other night. He was in San Diego. His Trump was so good that he just would just start saying things in Trump, and I would just immediately start laughing. I was like, couldn't believe like how accurate it was. It
Do you
was
think
so
his
good.
like semi-Down syndrome look helps?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
For
Shane
sure.
Gillis's
Yeah.
Down syndrome look.
Yes, if you look.
Oh,
like
he's the one who made a joke about that. He's like, you know
Yeah.
me, I kind of dodged a bullet here. I don't know if you noticed. Dodged a Down syndrome bullet.
Dude, I saw him make a joke about himself. That was perfect. He's like, I'm your high school bully. I'm your high school bully. I learned art. I'm in Brooklyn now. He reminds me of that guy.
Speaking of comedians, you know who I just discovered? Don't get mad at me if you guys already know him and like, what the fuck? Sebastian Maniscalco.
Maniscalco?
I literally
You
just
just
discovered
discovered that
him.
Never heard of
And
him.
I stayed up
I got over that guy
all
like 5 years ago.
night
Yeah, I'm over
watching
that guy.
his special. And yeah, I'm way late to this. Absolutely incredible.
I feel like you
Hilarious.
shilled him like 5 years ago. Did you just forget?
Never known.
He
of
does like a
this
great
person.
Italian guy.
Yeah.
You know, like he does like the perfect Italian.
But he
I
reaches a lot of
swear to
people.
God, this
Yeah.
guy was shilling this guy to
No,
me.
I've
like,
never heard of Sebastian. Never heard of.
He shilled Andrew Schultz.
I don't.
I've never heard him shill it. Andrew.
I have an incredible memory, Steven. I don't forget these things. I know I've never shilled Sebastian. I don't know Sebastian. I just found him.
You're gonna enjoy it. You're on a good ride for a while.
If I ever make an alfalfa AI, we can look it up.
Yeah, why have you not made an alfalfa AI yet?
Busy.
Why can't the people
It's
just
on the list.
make me say things?
It's on
in my
Nick's
own
post-it
voice?
note process. It's just very far down there.
Every day it
it
gets
just
pushed a
won't. I
little
can't
lower.
get it higher.
Every day I log onto the internet and I don't have an AI version of myself saying something cancelable where I'm like, oh my God. how
But your
did this
friend owns a
happen?
company who can do that exact same thing.
It's just like, how am I missing out on that experience?
I know. I'd like to just put it in the Discord too.
I wonder who would be the biggest user of that. Would it be an audience member or would it be one of us?
We would abuse
I
it.
would like to revisit things I've said and be like, did I say something like this? Just to remember.
There's like some audience member out there who's like salivating for this. You don't even know who they are, but like you're gonna release it, and then next thing you know,
Peer pressure helps. If
Would
people
you-
want it, it'll probably become more likely.
Like if there was an AI
I mean,
that
the
was
people
built
obviously
upon,
want it.
like a built upon like our past, but like creates its own future, would you spend more time talking to yourself or to
We're 100%
Jesus
doing
Christ,
this.
aka Nick?
Apparently.
We're 100% doing this. It'll happen. It'll happen. What would it be though? Would it be like a compilation of us? Would it be like a fifth member of the pod?
Or
Is
like
the AI?
the alfalfa voice.
Yeah. What is it? How do you? Or does it change character
They'll have
based
to
on
change
the
character, I
question?
think.
Mm.
I can design it how you want.
I want both. I want
know.
I want like the consensus voice as
Oh
well.
no, I don't want. I want all 4 views.
So how what's the voice of it? Like when you pick up and
the
start
voice
a call
of
with
the
it.
podcast.
I want a South African gentleman.
Oh, I like
Zanzibar.
that.
That's
I
his
like
name.
That.
The voice
Oh.
is German Arman.
Oh yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I like Zanzibar.
All right,
I
but
like this. I like South
Zanzibar.
African guy.
Is Zanzibar the same accent as South Africa?
No, it's just a name Nick and I made up
It's a
15
fictional
years
character.
ago.
Zanzibar.
What if we did like the Persian Mercedes sales guy?
Oh my god.
That would be
epic.
Oh
epic.
my
Full accent,
Yeah.
everything.
Ask him like really in depth like AI advice.
Serious
and
I
he's
give you
just
best
like-
opinion, bro. Best opinion, bro. All four best.
Oh my god.
Best in all of America.
I will never, ever drink this beer. Are you enjoying your beer?
Yes.
Thank
Nick,
God.
Nick sounded more like my Turkish massage guy though than
You have
Yeah.
a Turkish massage
Oh,
guy.
apparently
Do you
he fucks
know
'em up.
how I know you're gay?
dude. Ozzy is the best, man. It's like every time he does anything on my body, he'd just grab my arm and he'd be like, "Bro, I am about to do a move on your arm. Nobody can do this move. Nobody can
Is
do
he the
this move."
Zohan? Sounds like Zohan.
He's wearing a Speedo.
It's amazing. Like anytime he's about to like loosen something on my body, he has to tell me like,
Preps it.
just like,
Yeah.
just so you know, bro,
In all
there
of
is
Europe.
nobody in the entire world who can do the move that I am about to do to your hamstring. Nobody can do. It's just like
That's pretty good.
That's such a
What's his name?
Turkish, Persian
Ozzy.
kind of way
I
of
love
I've been going to this
living.
man for 12 years.
Let's bring him on the pod. Need to meet the character.
He's a character.
We need to have a
He's a
Friends of the
character.
Pod rotation.
Yeah, seriously.
Dude, that would be a funny episode, actually.
We really need to
We'd
do
have to
that,
cut it a few
especially when
times,
someone's
but-
missing. We should just bring somebody.
We've had people linger in here, like right around 5:01, and they're like, "So Arman's not
Yeah,
here."
can I play?
I want Adrian to do one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys aren't for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Sorry,
want us to
Adrian.
still have an
I tried.
audience.
I tried. He told me to try. I'm just.
All
I
right, boys.
I can just be Adrian for an episode if you want. It's not that hard.
You want some pasta, some wine? Should we
I
go?
do.
We gotta go
I
to
do.
dinner,
I
Reza.
want my
Hell yeah.
beverage.
Okay. All right, guys. Everyone, thanks for joining us. That was a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you hated it, let us know in the comments. If you loved it,
No one's here who's
let
hated it.
everyone else know. Let your best bud,
Somebody's just been hate
your best
watching
friend
for 2
know.
hours.
Hate watching?
if you loved it.
Apparently you do
I
that.
hate this so much.
Which one of you said you hate watch?
Can't stop watching.
All in?
I hate watch all in.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I guess it exists.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I wonder who our hate watchers are. That would be fun to bring them to after
Hey,
hours.
haters, make yourself known.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week, Wednesday, 5 p.m. PST. Join us on YouTube, everyone. All links are at alfalfapod.com. See ya.
Peace.
Peace.